A secret text, hidden between dusty pages and silenced for centuries. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, a manuscript that challenges established truths and reveals a path to spiritual ascension. What does this controversial text have to teach us? And why was he banned? Mary Magdalene, often seen as just a marginal figure, emerges as the true spiritual guide, revealing that enlightenment does not reside in dogma, but in liberation from the bonds of body and mind. Imagine accessing wisdom that has been deliberately suppressed by the guardians of faith. The Gospel suggests that salvation is an internal journey, a deep connection between the soul and the cosmos, something that many prefer to ignore. What if the key to personal transformation was understanding these teachings? What did the religious leaders fear we would discover as we delved into this forbidden knowledge? Get ready to explore a spiritual map that can change your outlook on life and the divine. Revelations that challenge everything you thought you knew about spirituality and the role of the soul. The journey starts now. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene emerged in a fascinating period of early Christianity when different schools of thought were forming. Mary Magdalene, an important figure in the life of Jesus, was often portrayed distortedly in canonical narratives. This gospel, which was not included in the official Bible, offers a unique perspective on his life and teachings. The exclusion of this text from traditional Christian canons raises questions about what Mary's original message might have been. Throughout history, she's been seen as a redeemed sinner, but the gospel presents a wise and spiritual woman. This makes us wonder who really was Mary Magdalene. The cultural and religious context of the time certainly influenced his image and the way his teachings were received. The gospel was written in a context where female voices were often silenced. The rise of Orthodox Christianity, with its rigidly defined doctrines, led to the marginalization of texts that contradicted its beliefs. Thus, the story of Mary Magdalene and her gospel were left aside, devalued and forgotten. It is interesting to note how the figure of Mary Magdalene evolved over the centuries. Over time, she went from a powerful and knowledgeable woman to a symbol of repentance and sin. This process of erasure is a reflection of tensions between religious traditions and the perception of women's role in society. Therefore, as we explore the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, we are not only rediscovering a literary work, but also revisiting the story of a woman who had much to teach. Its importance in early Christianity is undeniable and continues to resonate today. The teachings contained in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene bring to light a rich and profound spiritual philosophy. One of the central concepts is the notion of inner salvation, which suggests that true salvation is not outside but within each of us. This idea contrasts with many religious doctrines that emphasize the intercession of external figures for salvation. The relationship between the soul and the cosmos is also a recurring theme. The Gospel suggests that the soul is part of a greater whole, connected to the universe. This holistic view proposes that self-knowledge and understanding our place in the cosmos are essential for spiritual evolution. This invites us to reflect on how our actions and thoughts are interconnected with the world around us. Furthermore, the transcendence of physical and mental limitations is another crucial teaching. Mary Magdalene teaches us that the barriers we feel are not permanent. Through spiritual practice and self-knowledge, we can overcome these limitations. It's a powerful message that resonates with many who seek freedom and personal expansion. Mary's teachings also address the importance of love and compassion. She emphasizes that love is a transformative force, capable of healing and elevating consciousness. This notion of love is not limited to romantic love, but extends to a universal love that embraces all forms of life. Mary Magdalene's spiritual philosophy invites us on a journey of self-discovery and evolution. His teachings remind us that true wisdom and understanding are within us, waiting to be revealed. This message continues to inspire people seeking an authentic and meaningful spiritual path. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, spiritual ascension is presented as an essential process to achieve true freedom. Maria teaches that to free yourself from material constraints, you must first recognize and understand the limitations imposed by the physical world. This liberation is not just a matter of detachment, but a path towards deep self-knowledge, where each person must look inside themselves. The journey begins with accepting one's own emotions and experiences, allowing the person to connect with their essence. The search for self-knowledge is a fundamental key in this transformation. Mary Magdalene emphasizes that true enlightenment comes from understanding who we really are, beyond appearances. This self-exploration can be challenging, as we are often faced with fears and insecurities. However, the Gospel suggests that facing these questions is necessary for ascension. The deeper a person delves into this self-knowledge, the closer they become to their divine essence. Furthermore, personal liberation involves overcoming limiting beliefs. We are often conditioned by social and religious standards that prevent us from moving forward on our spiritual journey. Mary encourages us to question these doctrines and seek the truth that resonates in our hearts. This process of liberation is an act of courage, as it requires us to give up certainties that no longer serve us and embrace the uncertainty of the spiritual path. The Gospel also talks about the importance of meditation and reflection as tools for ascension. These practices help to calm the mind and connect with the universe. Through meditation, a person can experience moments of clarity and insights that will guide them on their journey. It is in this space of tranquility that the most profound revelations can emerge, illuminating the path to liberation. Spiritual ascension is not a destination, but an ongoing process. It is an invitation to constantly evolve, always seeking a state of greater awareness and connection with the divine. Mary Magdalene's message reminds us that true freedom comes from within, and that each step taken on this journey is an achievement towards enlightenment. Mary Magdalene's teachings often conflict with traditional religious doctrines, especially those that have prevailed in Orthodox Christianity. While established religions tend to promote a hierarchical and patriarchal view, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene proposes a more inclusive and egalitarian approach. This fundamental difference is one of the reasons why his message was silenced and excluded from canonical texts. One of the main divergences is in the understanding of salvation. For Mary, salvation is a personal and internal process, linked to self-knowledge and spiritual ascension. In contrast, traditional doctrines often see salvation as a matter of faith and obedience to specific dogmas. This distinction reveals a worldview where individual experience is valued, as opposed to conformity to externally imposed rules. Furthermore, Mary Magdalene is a figure who represents feminine wisdom, challenging the perception that women should occupy secondary roles in spirituality. This view contrasts with the patriarchal structure of traditional religions, which often marginalize female voices. The Gospel, by giving Mary a voice, questions exclusion and proposes a spirituality that integrates both the masculine and the feminine. Religious leaders, when faced with these revolutionary ideas, saw the need to silence Mary's message in order to maintain the established order. The search for truth and the spiritual freedom it promotes could threaten the control exercised by these institutions. This raised the question, how far are religions willing to go to preserve their dogmas? Thus, conflicts between the teachings of Mary Magdalene and traditional religious doctrines reflect a broader struggle for spiritual freedom. By rejecting the imposition of limiting beliefs, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene invites people to seek an authentic and personal spirituality, far from the constraints that the religious system often imposes. Mary Magdalene, often seen as just a secondary figure in biblical narratives, gains new light when we look at the gospel that bears her name. She represents a powerful and alternative perspective on the role of women in spirituality. The female figure, often relegated to silence in religious traditions, emerges here as a voice of wisdom and knowledge. This new interpretation challenges the traditional view that often marginalizes women in the history of spirituality. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, she is not just a follower of Jesus, but a spiritual leader who has deep insights into the connection between the human and the divine. Their presence in the narratives suggests that women have a fundamental role in the spiritual search and understanding of the sacred. This empowering vision is a reminder that spirituality should be genderless and that female contributions are essential to the fullness of spiritual experience. Furthermore, Mary Magdalene's message highlights the importance of intuition and self-knowledge, characteristics often associated with the feminine. She invites everyone to look inside themselves, to seek their truths, and to recognize their intrinsic value. This approach can be transformative, especially in a world that often values external achievements more than internal depth. Spiritual traditions that recognize the importance of the female figure can offer a more inclusive and welcoming space for all. By highlighting Mary Magdalene as a source of wisdom, we are challenged to reevaluate the structures that often limit women's voices in spirituality. There is a wealth of teachings and practices that can be drawn from this new perspective that values and celebrates femininity. The story of Mary Magdalene is an invitation for all of us, regardless of gender, to explore spirituality more broadly. She reminds us that connecting with the divine and seeking truth are journeys that everyone can undertake, and that a diversity of experiences, including those of women, is fundamental to a fuller understanding of what it means to be spiritual. The teachings of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene offer a useful path for many people seeking personal transformation today. In a world full of distractions and challenges, the ideas presented by Mary Magdalene encourage the search for deeper meaning in life. The spiritual practices she suggests can help restore inner balance and connection with the divine, promoting a state of peace and clarity. One of the main contemporary lessons we can take from the Gospel is the emphasis on self-knowledge. Mary Magdalene reminds us that true wisdom comes from within. This resonates strongly in times where self-help and the search for therapies are on the rise. People are increasingly willing to explore their own emotions and thoughts, and the Gospel offers a guide for this inner journey. Additionally, spiritual practices that arise from Mary Magdalene's teachings may include meditation and reflection. These techniques help to center the mind and open the heart, allowing a deeper connection with the divine. By incorporating these practices into everyday life, people can discover a sacred space in their lives where spirituality becomes an active and vibrant part of everyday life. Another important aspect is the idea of freedom from material constraints. In a consumerist world, the Gospel suggests that true happiness comes not from external possessions, but from inner peace. This message is especially relevant today, when many are looking for ways to detach from stress and social pressures. The spirituality proposed by Mary Magdalene offers a refuge and a new way of seeing life. By looking at the contemporary implications of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, we are invited to rethink how we can integrate its lessons into our own lives. Connection to the divine, self-knowledge, and the search for freedom are themes that resonate deeply and can guide many on their spiritual journey. In doing so, we can find a path that not only respects tradition, but also adapts to the needs of the modern world. As we reflect on the teachings of Mary Magdalene, it is impossible not to wonder what else is hidden beneath layers of tradition and dogma. This often ignored gospel invites us to look within and explore the deep connection we have with the universe. Imagine if true spiritual ascension was just an insight away. Mary teaches us that salvation is not a destination, but a journey of self-discovery. What does it mean, then, to free yourself from the ties that bind us? What are the limiting beliefs we carry that may be hindering our spiritual evolution? By allowing ourselves to question and explore, we open doors to a new understanding of our essence. What if what we were always looking for was within us? The Gospel reveals that we all have the power to access this hidden wisdom. So, how can you apply these teachings to your life? What practical steps can we take to free ourselves from limitations and reach our true essence? The journey doesn't end here. What else can we discover about ourselves and the universe? Stay tuned, because forbidden knowledge still holds many secrets waiting to be revealed.